4 mausoleums, 4 bosses, 4 insanely epic sets of gear. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're breaking down how to find each of the Nameless mini-bosses, sharing some tips on how to defeat them, and taking a closer look at their full set of rewards. Throughout the Shadow Realm are Nameless mausoleums. There are 4 in total, and to reach them all, you need to have progressed through a healthy chunk of the DLC. With some natural exploration, you'll most likely have all of the sites of grace necessary to find each of these locations, but we'll also try and help you get there just in case you're still early on in your adventure. It goes without saying that the first mausoleum you'll encounter is found almost immediately in the gravesite plain. If you haven't seen the memes online about fighting Black Jail Knight, then you are missing out, but truth be told, he is accessible right from the start of the DLC, and while tough, killing him rewards you with some awesome gear. During the fight, the boss will change between 2 stances, either holding a crossbow in one hand and his sword in the other, or using that sword in 2 hands. I find that his range stance is a bit more terrifying because at any moment, he can decide to shoot out a barrage of flaming bolts. All the while, he can lunge out with the sword at any moment, which has more range than you might think. His 2-handed stance is a bit more predictable, but it does hurt. My death count can definitely prove that. He'll do a jumping attack that puts you on your back foot, and then follow up with the sword's unique skill, which sends out a wave of energy. You get caught with 2 or 3 attacks without any Scatter-Tree blessings, and you'll most likely be dead. If you do manage to defeat him early, you'll be rewarded handsomely for your efforts, because not only do you receive a full set of Solitude armor, but you also receive the Great Sword of Solitude. The armor is amongst the heaviest in the entire game, but it's also incredibly durable, giving you more physical damage negation than magic damage negation, but still decent across the board. As far as the resistances go, you do get above average focus, which helps you resist sleep and madness, and average stats amongst the other categories. The sword is really something, and if you're into bigger weapons, it might be worth upgrading early on in the DLC. The weapon does require 27 strength and 13 dexterity to use, but you get B strength scaling and E dexterity scaling before any upgrades. Invest a few smithing stones, and this could be the centerpiece of your build. The unique skill, Solitary Moonslash, is exactly what you just experienced with the Black Jail Knight. After a quick windup, you'll slash, sending out a wave of energy. With the first boss out of the way, I think it only makes sense that we head south to the Cerulean Coast to conquer our second mausoleum. To start, you'll want to unlock the Castle Front Site of Grace. From there, head southeast, continuing to head down the entire time. Once you reach this fork in the road, turn left, continuing to head downhill. Once you reach an area filled with poison, hang a loose left and just keep heading down. Eventually, you'll reach a much darker area. Look for the giant Miranda Sprout and the cave it's guarding. Make your way through, and you'll eventually reach a small cave in our first checkpoint. The next section requires some careful jumping, but again, you just want to keep heading downhill. You're essentially following the river to the coastline, so be careful avoiding enemies that might knock you off, and eventually you'll reach the top of this massive waterfall. There will be another site of grace here which you should pick up. Then continue down using the fallen pillar as a bridge to get from the top of the waterfall to the bottom. Follow the river and choose to either fight or run from the furnace golem that's guarding your path. This is one of the unarmored enemies we talk about in our full Secrets of the Furnace Golem video, so go check that out to learn more about these monstrosities and the secrets they guard. Turn right at the golem and crest the hill, and voila, you've reached the Cerulean Coast. From here, you need to head southwest. We're heading to that little island off the coast of the Shadow Realm, but it's not a straight shot. You first need to locate this tree and make your way underground to a hidden part of the world. Follow the cave, and eventually you'll pop up on the island where you can find the southern Nameless Mausoleum. When you enter the mausoleum, you'll encounter the Dancer of Rana. By comparison, this is a much easier fight than Black Jail Knight, and that's simply because she can't 1 or 2 shot you. However, that doesn't mean the Dancer is easy, and if you let your guard down or miss too many dodge rolls, her fluid attack combinations will lock you up. That's really my best advice here, just keep moving back from her never-ending chain of melee attacks. There will be windows where you get in a few swings, but it requires patience. Part of the Dancer's identity in FromSoft games is their ability to fluidly string together multiple attacks, and that's exactly what's on display here. The Dancer also has a ranged attack, similar to how the new perfume bottle weapon works. She'll send out a wide arc of fire sparks, but as long as you see it coming, you can adjust accordingly. Once you defeat the boss, you'll be rewarded with the full Dancer armor set, as well as the Dancing Blade of Rana. As you might expect, the Dancer set is incredibly light, amongst the lightest in the game, offering very little in the way of protection. The armor does have decent damage negation against magical attacks, as well as incredibly high focus and vitality, so it's not all bad, but very specific to a certain defensive niche. The interesting twist is that the armor does enhance any dancer skills, so if you're leaning into that playstyle, you could see some major benefits. As far as the weapon goes, you'll need 9 strength and 20 dexterity to wield it. It starts with a B dexterity scaling, which will go up as you upgrade it. The unique skill Unending Dance lets you unleash that same technique the Dancer of Rana just tried taking you out with, so consider the tables turned. To get to the northern Nameless Mausoleum, we'll first have to make our way to the Morth Ruins. From here, head north until you find this small body of water. You'll notice a cave, and if you follow that, you'll eventually end up in the ancient ruins base. From here, you'll want to make your way southwest, stopping short of the Templetown ruins. Around this location, you'll notice a sealed spirit spring. All you need to do is walk up the hill, smash this pile of rocks, and it'll open up. Mount up and ascend to the very top of the mountain. It's a 2-jump situation, so make sure you get all the way to the summit. There you'll see a lone building and our destination. I have good news. Red Bear is, in my opinion, the easiest of the 4 Mausoleum bosses, and he rewards the coolest set of gear. His moveset is very similar to Logar, who you fought to obtain the Beast Claw back in Gravesite Plain. It's all melee aggression all the time, and because his reach is so limited, you can simply keep him at an arm's length and you should find some success. Be warned that later on he'll start using a roar attack. This is something you can pick up yourself by defeating Rugalia, the Great Red Bear, in the woods to the northeast. Hopefully, it doesn't take you too long to defeat Red Bear, and when you do, you'll be rewarded with Red's Bear Claw, the Fang Helm, and the Iron Rivet armor set. The weapon requires 20 strength and 10 dexterity to equip, and starts with C strength scaling and E dexterity scaling. It also comes with the unique skill Red Bear Hunt, which is that energy-infused swipe you saw during the boss fight. The only difference is that you can follow up with 2 additional attacks, which could prove to be mighty useful. The Iron Rivet armor set doesn't have the highest damage negation, with physical damage taking a backseat to magic damage, but it's the resistances that almost all clock in above average, with immunity just way above the rest. This is a great set to wear if you're dealing with poison or rot, something to keep in the back of your mind. To reach the final mausoleum, we'll need to get to the ruins of Unte, which is only accessible by finding a secret coffin within Shadow Keep. First, you'll need to kill the Golden Hippopotamus boss. Then, head through the castle and up the wooden ramps until you reach the top. Move across the top of the castle walls, across the Vulgar Militia ambushes, and find this ladder on the left side. Take this down and you'll reach a seemingly dead end. Walk around the edge and eventually you can take another ladder down. Grab the painting if you want, but really you need to smack this wall here, which will reveal a secret passageway. Follow that down and interact with the coffin at the end. When you wake up, you'll be in the ruins of Unte. From here, you can just follow the river down. Just be careful to jump off here, which is halfway down a set of cliffside tombstones. Just around the bend is the mausoleum and our final challenge. Waiting inside is Rakshasa, who I would say is the most deceptively difficult boss of the lot. He uses a great katana, and as you know, if you've dabbled with the weapon type, it's got some serious range. Couple that with the pure damage the boss can output, and it's very easy to make one simple mistake and pay for it with your life. The key here is absolute patience. Rakshasa won't overwhelm you with 50 different types of attacks or combinations, but everything hurts, so prepare for that physical damage. Once defeated, he'll drop Rakshasa's Great Katana, as well as his entire armor set. The Great Katana requires 27 dexterity and 12 strength to wield, and has C dexterity and E strength scaling to start. It also comes with the unique skill Weed Cutter, which performs horizontal strikes that the player can continue to use so long as they have stamina. Now, as far as the armor goes, well, this is a pretty special set, because if you've been looking for that medium weight melee glass cannon set, you have found it. The stats are fine, relatively flat across the board with higher than average robustness, but it's the special effect that might pique your interest. While wearing the armor, your damage dealt to enemies is increased, but so is the damage that you take. High risk, high reward. It's a unique set and one I could see a lot of players weaving into their offensive melee damage builds. So there you have it, 4 mausoleums, 4 bosses, and 4 awesome sets of armor and weapons. We hope you all enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, of course, drop us a like and consider subscribing. We'll have more Elden Ring coming your way, so keep it here and don't miss a thing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.